Good evening, and welcome to the Rhythm Notes of Public Health with me, Kayanta. I am the soul of public health. I am so excited about today's guest and today's subject. The subject is actually going to be a series of subjects vaginal health and sex series for women. We are going to be talking about our first topic, which is bacterial vaginosis and addressing douching and all things questions asked of bacterial vaginosis. I'm excited about our Black Pink advisory team member, Dr. Lori Johnson. You will be hearing her and or seeing her a lot because she is a part of our advisory team. She gives it to you straight, no chaser. She lets you know the truth. She lets you know what needs to be said. So, Dr. Lori, let's get into this topic. Welcome. How you doing?
Thank thank you so much. I'm doing fine on this beautiful day. Thank you so much for having me
Oh,
to
absolutely.
speak about it, all things vaginas.
All things vaginas.
um,
This is gonna
all
be
things
good.
vaginas.
All things vaginas. And look, and look, the delicateness of it all, there's a lot to talk about when it comes to the
Yes.
vagina. So I was telling you that we're gonna do this entire series on um things that women, middle-aged women, and some younger women want to talk about a lot with vaginal health and sex. So that's the series. And to just tell you about some other things we'll be talking about, we're going to be talking about middle-aged women and sexual needs. That's going to be good. And then we're going to be talking about a hot topic: can menopause ruin your relationship? Mm, that's going to be a hot topic.
Mm,
And then vaginal dryness,
that
which
is.
women have often but don't talk about. So we got to talk about it. That's what we're here for.
Yeah.
And then multiple orgasms in women. Is it a thing, or are women faking it? Dr. Lori, this is gonna be good. And then, because we're hope that women not faking it. Maybe some are faking it, but we know that us older women, we're not into that. Let's hope. But we're gonna talk about it. Then we're gonna talk about self pleasuring, and then one of my favorite ones is age appropriate behavior, sex and age, women in their 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, and 70s. Because they're 70, they still having sex. I got an auntie, and they don't call her name, but well, I got a bunch of them, and yeah, she's always trying to tell
It's
me about
still
her sexual adventures, and I'm not trying to hear it. Okay, but they doing it. They doing it, Dr. Lori. Are they doing it? Are they doing it? Are they doing it in their
They
70s?
are. They are, honey. Ooh, they are. You'd be surprised.
So I'm gonna
They
be
find them
excited
young
to.
men.
Yeah, yeah. Well, okay, no comment. You're gonna hear me say that a lot. No comment. I'm gonna let Dr. Lori be the expert in this. And then it's sex for us or our partners. And that is also going to be a good subject because a lot of women say, I'm not gonna give him none. Like the sex ain't for them. So we're gonna get into it. This series is gonna be really good. Make sure that you're tuning in. But today we're gonna start out with some basic things that you need to know before we get into this series, which is bacterial vaginosis. So, Dr. Lori, I'm going to be asking you four questions mainly. What is it? What does it look
Mhm,
like? What does it feel
mhm.
like? And why do
Okay,
we get it? So, let's just start with
right.
what is it?
Well, BV or bacterial vaginosis is basically a term that's used to apply to a number of actual pathogens, actual bacteria. And what happens is those particular bacteria, there's about five or six that cause the symptoms, Gardnerella, Lactobacilli, et cetera, there's a few others, that when they overgrow in the vagina, they cause a series of symptoms. So they get like you get like a discharge, it gets irritated, and it just basically happens because certain bacteria kind of overgrow. The vagina is actually a very well controlled in its perfect state, a very well controlled like microcosm. Like it has some certain amount of yeast, a certain amount of bacteria, and they all kind of work together to kind of keep in balance. When one or any of those things goes out of balance for various reasons,
Mm-hmm.
then that allows the others to overgrow, and then you have symptoms, and then you have issues like BV.
Okay, Dr. Lori. So what you just said something that was very important. You said the vagina is a what?
Microcosm.
No, I'm saying that you said that it kind of takes care of itself, right? You're saying that
Correct.
that the way that the vagina is made, it takes care of itself with neutralizing itself, correct? Is that what you're saying?
Correct.
Could you
That's
repeat
correct.
that part
Correct.
again? Because we have women, and you know we're going to talk about douching, but in your explanation, could you just repeat that part about what the vagina does on its own, so we can just be clear, ladies can be clear on what is going to do on its own in a I guess in a perfect world, or in a natural world that we're eating right and drinking our water and doing things that we're supposed to do.
Correct. So the vagina will reflect what's going on in the body, and in a perfect state, it kind of takes care of itself. It maintains its own balance. It
Mm-hmm.
maintains its own pH. It maintains its own number of bacteria versus yeast, and it kind of does all that on its own without really much intervention from us. It's designed to uh, um, create and then flush itself out once a month when you have your cycle. You have your flow, and then all the secretions and so forth do what they're supposed to do throughout the course of the month to maintain that balance. And
Mm-hmm.
again, as you said, a lot of it has to do with what you're eating, what you're drinking, how your body is staying more alkaline than acidic. Just different things like that. That the more we can do to keep ourselves healthy, the more healthy the vagina is, and you don't have to do that much to it
Mm-hmm.
to make it be healthy. It does just fine on its own.
Okay. That's good to know. That's good to bring out, because women always think that they have to do something. I mean, they had to do something like eating right
Right.
and taking
No,
supplements and drinking water.
but yeah,
But
don't stick a lot of things in it. There's too much inside. It's not.
yeah.
You have to
Okay.
stick eggs and shells and yeah, no, no.
Okay. Okay. So go ahead. You was telling us what BV is.
Right. So BV is a phrase that's that's applied to any number of different bacteria. That
Hmm.
when those bacteria overgrow, you get a set of symptoms.
Hmm.
Typically, you'll get an increase in your discharge, and
Hmm.
it may have a greenish tint to it.
Hmm.
It may
And,
be
and and
more
so and so I'm
milky
sorry, but so
than
now you're getting into what it looks like. So now you're getting into
what
telling
it
us
looks like.
what it looks like, what it looks like. So let's start over. What does it look like, Dr. Lori?
Well, typically you'll get an increased discharge.
Hmm.
And you will also get irritation,
Hmm.
kind of inflammation, you may be uncomfortable. And then typically you'll have an odor that goes along with it, a fishy smelling kind of odor. And
Hmm.
so all that is a result of those bacteria overgrowing. There's about 5 or 6 main bacteria that when they overgrow, they cause BV. And
Hmm.
so when any of those five kind of get in the overdrive, that's the kind of symptoms that we see. Um, Smell, this increased discharge, and a lot of irritation.
Hmm.
Sometimes itching, but more just irritation and inflammation of the vaginal area.
Hmm. So and then that also tells what it feels like. It's a itching, irritation feeling, annoying. It's pretty annoying, right? And that's what
Yeah,
bring normally
annoying.
bring women to the doctor, right?
Correct.
Hmm.
Correct. There's something's going on, or a lot of times it's the odor that brings them into the doctor as
Mm.
well, because it does give a very distinct kind of a fishy smell
Hmm.
that you women don't really have. It's kind of a fishy odor.
Hmm. And what about women? Will some women having and they be asymptomatic or not have symptoms, or will women normally have symptoms?
You typically have symptoms. It's
Okay.
rare that will be asymptomatic. You will have nothing. You definitely have symptoms.
Okay. And so I think you told in your definition of why we get it, why do we get it? Why do we get bacterial vaginosis? But if you can just talk about that just a little bit more, like why do we get this? I know I was speaking with someone just this weekend, and they were saying, like, after my cycle, it's annoying. Every month after my cycle, I get bacterial vaginosis. Now, I'm not the doctor, so I said, make sure that you tune into the show and we'll talk about that. But I didn't know that, maybe her thought was she has it 1 month, it goes away, and then she gets it every month thereafter. But I was
Hmm.
thinking maybe it never went away and she still had it. But you're the doctor, and so what happens? Like, how do we get it? How do we get this?
Well, let me address that just
Okay,
briefly,
okay, okay,
and let me just that just briefly.
okay.
So there is a very widespread kind of a misconception that a woman is never supposed to have any kind of discharge.
Mm-hmm.
And some women, I'm not saying that this person is in that category, but some women think that if they have any discharge whatsoever, it's a problem, and that's not so.
Mm-hmm.
So again, with BV, characteristically, there'll be irritation and there'll be an odor.
Okay.
So if you're having just some discharge that's white, it just kind of comes, that is highly unlikely that that's BV. It may just
Okay.
be your regular monthly cyclic discharge, and the discharge will change throughout the course of the month. When you're mid-cycle and ovulatory, it's going to be a kind of different, like a egg white, stringy. When you're closer to your period, it's going to be a little thicker.
Mhm.
That's different than actual BV. So let me just
Okay.
put that out there because a
Yeah,
lot of
no, no, no. I
women,
like that. I
mhm,
like that. I like that. I like that you're educating us so we can understand. So when you said that we're having that monthly discharge and that it changes and that it's just the
mhm,
discharge that we normally get, women really believe that if they're having a discharge, it's something wrong. So I'm glad that you said that women, because that's like you said at the beginning, that's the body's way of cleansing, correct?
correct. And like at mid-cycle, that's the body's way of letting the sperm get to the egg. So
Hmm.
that running your discharge thinner so that when you, because the idea is you're ovulating, your body's
Mm-hmm.
trying to get pregnant,
Mm-hmm.
sperm have to get to the egg so that discharge gets thin so that the sperm can get there a little easier.
Mm-hmm.
And so then ovulation is over, it gets a little thicker again because the hormones in your cycle are changing. So just as saying that, a lot of women come to me like, oh, I have all this discharge, I have discharge. And it's just like, no, this is just your monthly
Yeah,
discharge. It's okay.
yeah. I'm so
Wrong with it.
glad we're talking about this because women say it all the time. They always think something is wrong because they let Google and social media and friends and family diagnose them and not get the information from a doctor who has been to school, who who is who who is not validated from Instagram followers, who has actually
Follow.
studied. We talk about that often. You've gone to school, but you were talking about, I can get off track, but you were talking about, let me stay on this. How do we get it? And I know because we always have some sidebar conversations about this. I know you have a lot to say of how do we get this, and the how we get it is very important because if you don't know how to get it, right, you don't know how to prevent it from happening. So that part is very important. How do we get this bacterial vaginosis? Or how does our pH, right, become off balance? So now that we have this extra discharge or this smelly discharge or this irritating discharge that we have. Dr. Lori,
Mhm.
it's on
Well,
you.
one of the reasons can't ever stress enough to women is you really have to drink water. Like your body's 98% water. And to keep everything flowing properly in your urinary tract, in your vaginal tract, you really have to drink water. And so if you're like a big soda drinker, a big tea drinker, a big coffee drinker, where you don't get a lot of water intake, your body will become a little more acidic.
Mm,
And then that changes the pH throughout the body, and then you allow those bacteria to, because they like acid, so they grow more in the acid.
mm,
So then you have it. That's an internal way of getting BV.
mm-hmm.
Some of the other ways, um, when you're washing, if you get soap inside the vagina. So I wish I had a diagram. I should have bought one,
Yeah, you should have bought
but
that.
I should have bought a diagram, right? Because a lot of people don't know what's down there. Like
Yeah,
they don't
and
know all the
that's
different
something.
holes.
That's a whole nother
So,
conversation, Dr. Lori.
Roll up
Get a
your face.
mirror.
So, get a mirror. The outer vagina is the labia and it's the lips, whatever. But the actual vagina itself isn't a big gaping hole, but
Yeah,
it's to make it plain is where you put the tampons in. That's where you put the penises in. That's the actual vagina, right?
that part. That
When
part.
you
What
get
what's the actual vagina? Because some people may not know.
right where the penis goes in, that's the
Hmm.
spot.
Hmm.
That's it. That's it. So when you get like even if you're washing, you get soap in there,
Hmm. Hmm.
or you're taking a tub and some water gets in there, because that is such a sensitive area, the soap or the water or whatever, the bath water can adjust the pH just that simply and change everything.
Mm.
Using a whole lot of perfumed body washes and dyes, you get some soap in there, and the next thing you know, your pH is all thrown off
Mm.
because you put something you weren't supposed to. That's another way. And then putting things in there.
Putting things in
That's
there.
that's the third way in there.
Yeah.
I did a video a couple weeks ago, like, when you're with your partner, you've got to be careful about what you're putting in to your vagina. It has
Yeah.
to be clean. Hands have to be clean.
Yeah.
Penises have to be clean.
Yeah.
Guys are a little different when it comes to intercourse. They kind of don't care if it's smelly or dirty or funky. They come in from outside and want to go and go for it. And you have to like, whoa, 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 go wash your hands or go take a little quick shower before
Yeah.
you come here
Yeah.
because you're going to throw me off.
Okay,
You're
so
going to
Dr. Lori,
unbalance my.
oh, this is good. This is good. This is good. Because what you're saying is, what you're saying is, while people getting all hot and bothered, right? And they have this feeling of
Mhm,
sensation of, ooh, 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 we're about to have intercourse, right? Mm,
mhm.
you may want to, before you get hot and bothered, make sure that hands are washed. So we need hands washed more than just for COVID. We need we need
That's
hands
it.
washed to help with bacterial vaginosis or preventing it, right? So you need to make
Awesome.
sure you make sure your hands are washed, and or like you said, take a shower, which is probably a lot of people are not going to do, because I literally had somebody just say that they don't like the fresh smell. Like, I don't know, I don't understand, but this is them. They don't like the fresh smell of their partner prior to intercourse. They want to smell some outside or some sweatiness.
Oh my.
See, I'm the total opposite. I really like you to be smelling fresh. You know what I mean? But what you just said is very important. So while we're feeling hot and bothered, this is just not for COVID, but did you wash your hands, right? Because you're
Yes.
saying that
Yes.
anything on your hands, your fingers, and going through every day, touching the steering wheel, touching the door, touching glasses, is picking up some bacteria. And then they're touching you or
Yes.
entering into your vaginal parts with their fingers, and now
Yes,
they're
sir.
upsetting your pH. And now the
Right.
upset is going to cause bacterial vaginosis. Okay, so we got that cleanliness.
Like if you would have like if you would have licked his finger
Yeah,
as it is,
yeah.
you shouldn't put it down there.
I was
But
gonna,
that's the test. If I lick the finger,
yeah,
maybe
yeah,
not.
yeah. So if you're not gonna lick the finger, right, ladies? If you're not gonna lick the finger, then don't put it into your vaginal areas. Okay. If you're not right, that's what you're saying, Dr. Lori, because you're saying that if you're okay to, and then some women may be okay to, some women may be okay to put
They might be upset.
the dirty finger in their mouth, right? But most not, right? And there's things that you don't think about that we're trying to bring awareness to, that simple task of wash your hands prior to intercourse,
Because
right?
the mouth is actually dirtier than the vagina. The
Okay, well then
mouth
let's talk
actually
about
has
that
more
part
bacteria.
while we're talking about ways to prevent bacterial vaginosis. Let's talk about oral sex, because that's important to talk about, right? We got to talk about that
Well,
because especially in today's day, it is so um, sensationalized, the whole oral sex thing, right? And so because
mhm.
because some people think if they have oral sex and they don't have sex, they still a virgin, right? That's what they think, and they think that let's just have oral sex, so we're just gonna do that. So let's talk about that, Dr. Lord, because Dr. Lord, we gotta talk about it. Like people, we doing a series, and we gotta let the people know the questions that
Yeah,
they're wanting to know. We gotta
yeah,
talk about it, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there's lots of bacteria in the mouth. And
Uh,
so you just got to think every point of contact, every point of contact from the woman to the man, and from the man from him back to her, like the tongue and the teeth and all that. People got
so
I
what
don't know
should
why I
they be
just thought
brushing
that,
their
but
teeth
people have
before they
real
start? Like, I'm confused. Like, this is a lot. Just this is a
needles and
lot.
in the nails. It's just like, oh, you got all that gold and particles in the gold all
Yeah.
down there. It's a lot happening. It's a lot happening down
Oh
there.
boy, you start thinking this through, you might be like, "That's okay, sir. I don't. That's
That's
okay. I'm
okay.
away." What should they be brushing their teeth? Like, cause we know that people. Listen, what should they be
I
doing?
mean,
Should they be gargling? What should they be doing?
maybe a little gargle, little peroxide gargle, a little salt water just to kind of help situate it.
Yeah. Y'all want to know?
But seriously,
Y'all wanted to know how to prevent this thing. Like, so we just got to talk about it and put it out there. This is because this is one of the things. This is something. This is what causes it, right? This is in the what causes bacterial vaginosis, right? This is it. And so, what else causes bacterial vaginosis, Dr. Lori?
well, those are the main things,
The
really.
main thing.
It's either internal or it's external. Either you're introducing bacteria into the body, or you're setting your own pH off to make it more acidic, which is going to lead to the overgrowth of the
Mm-hmm.
bacteria. And so those are just the main ways that women can tract it. Someone can
Mm-hmm.
tract it over and over again. Another thing I time to time is this is how I know it's true is I'll have clients who have partners who are uncircumcised. It's not
Mm-hmm.
very, very common, but it does happen. A
Mm-hmm.
lot of people of Hispanic descent,
Mm-hmm.
people from the islands, many of them are uncircumcised. My uncircumcised patients who have husbands who are uncircumcised have chronic issues with BV and frequently because again when a man is uncircumcised, he has to pull that foreskin back and clean out whatever may be hiding in there, and so my ladies frequently deal with it. So if I
Mm-hmm.
have a client who has repeat BV issues more than a couple of times a year, I will often offer to treat both partners, both the husband and the wife, do a full week's course of medication to try to clean the bacteria from his system and clean it from hers at the same time. But those are the main ways they deal with it.
And so I'm the part about the men and circumcision. So and treating the men, do the men are they asymptomatic? Do they not have any symptoms? Um, uh, do they not have the discharge? Do they not have the irritability or irritation? You said no. Oh, so they don't have. So they asymptomatic.
That's STD related issues. Men are symptomatic,
Oh, okay. So they will
and
not
it has
know.
to do with they won't know they have anything going on.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Okay.
People
Okay.
have a little.
So then the recommendation is sometimes when women are having these symptoms or having repeated bacterial vaginosis or BV, and they have the same partner, I guess they probably should get them treated as well if they're getting treated. Yes.
Yes,
Okay. And so you
if it's
also
frequent, then we choose.
okay. Could you repeat that? You kind of froze just a little bit. Could you repeat that for me, Dr.
I
Lori?
just said if it's more than one time they're having issues with getting BV like over and over again,
Hmm.
then I'll frequently offer to treat both.
Okay.
Can you
Okay.
hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Yeah. No, no, I heard that. That was clear. And so you also in that answer the question of some women being more prone to BV than the others, and you also address the repeat offenders, which is one of the questions I had. Like, what do you do with the repeat offenders of I got bacterial vaginosis over and over and over? Yeah, there would be a repeat offenders that coming back into your office again with the same thing. So that's why we're trying to learn how to prevent it from happening or to diminish the times that it's happening. Treat yourself. Listen, so which brings me into the treatment, right? So let's talk about some synthetic
Mhm.
treatments or prescription treatments. And we also want to talk about some natural treatments, or are there natural treatments that would actually treat bacterial vaginosis? Because you have you have natural people out here that would want to know, can I treat this naturally, or do I have to go and get a prescription or a synthetic drug, if you will, to treat this?
Well, to address the first part of your question, typically if I see people coming back frequently or over and over again, I will kind of go through a little more of a detailed history with them, a little more thorough. And
Mhm.
I'll ask questions like, is your partner circumcised? Or do you drink water? Or how much water? And what kind of soap? I'll kind of get into a little more detail history with what they're doing, that we can kind of switch those behaviors.
I like that because you're taking a holistic approach. I like that. Hmm.
Yeah.
I'm
Trying
sorry.
to
Go
find
ahead.
out like what is it that they could. That's okay. And then once we kind of go through that, I may recommend, if we check all the boxes and go through all the things, I'll tell them, make sure you're minimizing tub baths, like soaking in the tub, or if you soak, don't have your legs wide open, kind of a thing. As far as the synthetic, there's a couple of different antibiotics we use. One very common one is called Flagyl, or the non-brand name is metronidazole.
Hmm.
That comes in a pill and also comes in a gel form.
Hmm.
So people frequently will take that. There's one called tindazole, which is a cousin of metronidazole.
Hmm.
And then there's clindamycin. So there's various antibiotics you can take to get rid of the
Hmm.
BV.
Hmm.
As far as natural remedies or holistic remedies, I'll say, okay, well, let's do this. Let's consider drinking, alkaline water. I want you to do like 20, 5 8 ounces a day, like 45 ounces a day of alkaline water to try to shift your chemistry back.
Hmm.
Let's consider actually an interesting little tidbit that I discovered along the way was to use citrus fruit, not
Okay.
in the vagina, but around
Say that
the
again, because
labia
they're
itself,
gonna be
will
on say,
help to counteract.
yeah.
Not,
So what do you? So you're going to
yeah.
digest it. Listen, don't come back and say the rhythm notes of public health and Dr. Lori said put this in my vaginal area, because that's not what we're saying. You're saying you're going to eat the fruit or the.
No, you're gonna like when like a lemon, like take a lemon and cut it in half, and then when you're showering, you kind of just rub the outside of the vaginal area. Don't stick it in, and then kind of rinse, rinse it off, and it will help to kind of counteract what's going on inside. The
Hmm.
acid will kind of the smell and adjust some things as well,
Hmm.
which is a home remedy that I kind of stumbled upon with some other people I work with, and it actually works very well.
Hmm.
You can also try the probiotics, of
The
course,
right.
that will help kind of shift your vaginal health.
Hmm.
There now with probiotics, there are ones that are designed for the gut, like
Hmm.
for IBS, and then there's other ones that are designed for the vagina. So make
Right.
sure that you're not getting the gut ones instead of the vaginal ones. And typically on the sign, it'll
Say
tell
that.
you
Hmm.
which one is for. Is it for women's health, or is it for like your GI tract?
Hmm.
Um, Typically with probiotics, they should be cold because they want the cultures to be active. So there's lots and lots and lots of probiotics on the market, but the best ones are the ones that you have to keep cold.
Keep in the
So that
refrigerator.
if you're
Hmm.
buying them off the shelf, they may or may not be as effective in
Hmm. Hmm.
helping to do what you
Hmm.
need.
And then we have that line, and because I support women, right, and women businesses. So then we have the line of products, the natural products that um the name skip misses my mind right now. What's the name of it? I
Honey
actually
pot, honey pot.
the honey pot. Yes, 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 yes. So the honey pot, and so the honey pot has a line because I think um the the founder's story was that she was a repeat offender, right, with bacterial vaginosis,
Right.
and then in her dream she
Mhm.
came, her grandmother or someone gave her the
And her
remedy of how to naturally, um, I guess, cure or prevent the
mm,
bacterial vaginosis. Now, I don't know that it actually works in curing, and maybe you can help with that. But I think it may work better with prevention once you start out on a clean slate, right? With prevention. But I know one of the main ingredients is boric acid, and a lot of people ask me about boric acid. So I don't know a lot, but I do. Because I was told that you shouldn't be using soap in that area. So I really and truly do use um, the sensitive formula to her preventive cleansing, if you will, of the honey pot. And I really, really like it because it doesn't have a smell. It's just really neutralized. But as far as, like I said, the prevention side of it, like, have you found it to work with some of your patients that have come in that say, oh, I'm using it to rid it, or is it better for prevention?
better for prevention. Typically if there's a significant case, I'll suggest that they go ahead and just take a course of the antibiotics
Hmm.
to kind of just clear the bacteria,
Yes.
and then do some of the other modalities. Interestingly enough, honey pot has lemon, and it has some grapefruit in it as well.
Okay.
I'm friends with B from way
Okay.
back in the day.
Okay. You gotta know somebody who knows
Yeah,
somebody. Okay.
that's one of my boos. And there's an old video of us doing the whole vagina talk with her for the honey
Oh,
pot. But
great.
anyway,
Great.
um, yeah, yeah, that's my boo. B is my boo.
Yeah.
Um, and so and so that is a great place if once you're cleared to start with the honey pot and those kind of very sensitive washes. And again, it doesn't go in your vagina, it goes around the outside.
Hmm.
Boric acid actually is an old school um, treatment
Hmm.
that has always been around. Sometimes in medicine and things, stuff works, but we think we
Hmm.
can do it better. So we'll
Hmm.
let the old stuff go to the side to come up with new stuff.
Hmm.
And then, but that old stuff, it works. Like it worked
Hmm.
when it worked. We
Hmm.
just do some newer stuff.
Yeah.
So boric acid as treatment for vaginal infections is not new. It's very old actually, and typically we would use it in people who are kind of what we call refractory to other treatments. So it was kind of one of them things like, oh, and you got to be a certain got to be a certain age to
Yeah.
know about
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Really,
We're aging ourselves, but this
so
okay. It comes wisdom. Wisdom comes with age. Yeah.
That's right. That's right. So there's some old stuff. So it's but in this day and age of wanting to be more natural and wanting to be more holistic, it's kind of made a resurgence, become popular again to use that again for kind of chronic issues and repeat type of things. But again, a lot of it still goes back to that guy, man,
Hmm.
the man.
Hmm.
Sometimes it
Yeah.
still
Yeah.
goes back to your partner
Yeah.
and making sure that he's doing what he's supposed to do, that he's clean. And then some people's chemistries just don't match as well. Some because a man has
Ah.
his own secretions, a woman has her own secretions, and sometimes the chemistries just don't match super well. And even in spite of doing that, she still may be a little prone to it. So that's when the honey pot and those kind of things really come in good because it's going to help you on an everyday basis to kind of keep your body straight so that when you are interacting with him, it doesn't throw you off so much.
Mhm. Now, Dr. Lori, now I promise you, I could probably be here for a minute with this subject that we're talking about. But when you just said sometimes the chemistry or the chemistries of the two bodies or don't match, and that you're prone to it. Because I did have someone, this same young lady. So there was a couple things. She had a whole conversation with me as if I was a doctor about this bacterial vaginosis. Right, like, listen, you're public health, but one of the things that she, well, we're not calling any names, so, but one of the things, another thing that she was saying is that she, yeah, so but you can get it more so with one partner than another partner. Is basically what you just said, because that partner's chemistry may be off than the other partner's chemistry that you not off. But I don't know how you can really know if you having two partners and you're not using protection. But maybe you can. Maybe you just got with this partner this month and you got with that partner last month. I mean, I don't know. I
Complicated.
am just giving the information so we can resolve. Right. But really seriously though, for the takeaways of this show of uh, vaginosis in our series of vaginal health and women and sex, is that a few things. We now know what it is when our pH is off, right? And we now know that there are some main things that causes our pH, mainly what's going in there, which is some
What's
intercourse
going
stuff,
in? Yeah.
right? Fingers, hygiene, not just in
Mm-hmm.
COVID, but also in intimacy, right? And then we know some holistic approaches to take to treat and or prevent, and also some prescription and or synthetic, which I'm going to say a lot because I want our audience to know the difference between the two. Synthetic is what is made in the lab and tested on people, hopefully, to make sure that it works well. So we're going to talk about synthetic a lot, and also things that we can do holistically to help us rid bacteria, right, Dr. Lori?
Correct. 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 Absolutely.
Okay. Okay. So um Dr. Laura, is there anything else you want to add to this bacterial vaginosis conversation? I know it is a hot topic because we can just literally blur the line
Yeah.
between friends and health, public health and health professional, because we can get to talking about some stuff we've seen on the social media that's outlandish and crazy. Like, what are they talking about? And why are they telling people these things? And it is really and truly why I wanted to have the sex series or the vaginal health series, is because it's so much bad information out there, and we want to make sure that
Uh-huh.
people are getting the right information from professionals. Everybody wants to talk, everybody wants a platform to talk, but not everybody is educating their audience on factual things, not things that they're getting from the
Correct.
internet, but actual factual things. And though that's why it's important for me, being public health, to bring to you not just my rhetoric of what I have to say, but to bring on a professional who actually, this is what you do, this is what you can talk about. So we'll be seeing Dr. Lori a lot, because we're doing a series, and because she gives it to you straight with no chaser. We
Yeah.
will be talking to her a lot, and some other OBGYN professionals that we have on our team. But Dr. Lori, please, please, please tell the audience how they can reach you on social media, where you're located, and if they need a OBGYN and don't have one, and having a discharge and having an odor, and their partners
Yeah.
too, let them know how
Yeah.
you can treat them to feel better.
And all that to say, if you are having issues, and this is the Google generation, I understand, but take the time and seek a professional, because there are things that get missed, they get masked. Man, if I had bought stock in Monistat, boy, I'd be a billionaire, because they buy that every day thinking they have 8,000 yeast infections,
Yeah.
and it's just not that. So, like, my boss Monistat, why? It wasn't even that.
Yeah.
So go see your doctor. Find a doctor that you enjoy. I always tell, especially to my sisters, I want you to spend as much time finding a doctor as you do finding a hairdresser. And I want to
That
treat them
part.
the same. I
That
want you
part.
to invest as much you're willing to do for your doctor as you are for your hairdresser.
Hmm.
Let that sink in,
Hmm.
because we want to have a whole lot of other rules when it comes to who we're going to see and how we're going to see and how long we're going to wait and all this other stuff. But
Yeah.
when we go get that hair done,
Yeah.
we're going to sit there
Yeah.
as long as she tells us to sit there. We're going to
Yeah.
pay whatever she tells us to pay,
Yeah.
because we want to look good.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Talk
y'all,
about that, Dr. Lori. That's a whole nother segment, but that's very important to talk about. Yeah. Yeah.
that's a whole section, because we value how we look. We put money on how we look. We'll spend whatever, do whatever, take whatever time, sit, whatever. But then when it comes down to our bodies and our health, it's a lot more rules. Oh, was it my insurance? Oh, I don't want to pay a copay. Oh, I don't want to. Well, I got to pay for that. Well, I have to wait 15 minutes. What's she doing?
Yeah.
Why is it taking so long?
Yeah.
It's a whole lot of
Yeah.
stuff that happens
Yeah.
in the doctor's office but you say you want the best care.
Yeah. And Dr.
So
Lori, there and they're
I'm gonna leave that
no,
where
no,
it's
no, seriously, but they're getting and they're getting cute. They're getting cute to go out and meet somebody to have intercourse, but they don't know how to take care of that part of it, right?
okay, right. Exactly that part. That part.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna let that go because I can stay there for a
Yeah.
minute. But stay on that space for a minute. But you guys can reach me. I'm on Instagram. I'm Dr. Lori J, Loriej. I am on Twitter at the same handle. I'm on Facebook, Dr. Lori Johnson, and you can reach me. I'm in Locust Grove, Georgia, which is down the road in Henry County, around the corner from Tanger Outlet at Just for You Women's Healthcare. And our where are we? 3976 Highway 42 in Locust Grove, Georgia. You can Google me. You can look us up. You can read our reviews. Most of them are good.
Yeah.
Most of them are
Yeah. Yeah.
good.
Well, you've been Blackpink
So
certified, so you're good to go with us.
yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
No,
Yes,
thank you,
ma'am.
Dr.
So
Lori
we love
Johnson. Go ahead.
you for having me.
Yeah. And what I want our audience to remember is that we repeat what we don't repair, right? And so you are going to hear me say that a lot. We repeat what we don't repair, right? And so even with our thinking, if we don't repair the way we think, if we don't repair the way we do, if we don't repair our knowledge, then we're going to repeat things because we don't know how to resolve, right? It goes back to that whole thing of you have to get your lesson, and you have to get your lesson really is saying we repeat what we don't repair. So today is our first attempt to help you repair things, bacterial vaginosis, so we won't repeat it. Thank you, Dr. Lori, for coming on. Thank you for being a part of Blackpink Advisory Team. We look forward to you being a part of this exciting informational series. Give Dr. Lori a hand. Thank you, Dr. Lori. Have a good day and until next time. Okay, goodbye. So yeah, that was a really, 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 really good conversation on bacterial vaginosis. We are excited to have Dr. Lori. We are going to have several conversations of such in this way, talking about this. But as you know, I am a music lover. And being a music lover, I want to make sure that we're talking about music, and I'm giving you what I call my rhythm notes of music. And today's featured artist in our rhythm notes of music is Musiki Scales. And Musiki Scales, it actually went to Tuskegee with me, but he's performed in numerous celebrations, concerts, special events throughout Africa and America, including Ghana. This new project and this new song that you hear behind me is Kaleidoscopic Universe. I love this song because it encompasses really with rhythm who I am and helps me get the oxygen that I need to do the things that I need to do. And Musiki Scales, you can get this at Musiki Scales website. It is Musiki Scales. His website. That is him that I have been featuring behind me right there to so you can go and check his podcast out. We are excited to be featuring Musiki. We are excited to be having you be a part of our musical notes. Thank you for tuning in, and we will see you real, real, real soon. All right. Take care. And I'm Blackpink. I am the soul of public health, and I look forward to talking with you again soon. Have a good day. Bye bye.